Welcome to Game.Set.Chat. I am Chanda Rubin, as always, alongside Zena Garrison. And Zena, it's just so good to see you again. We kind of check in with each other once a week, video-wise, but we chat a little more often than that. But this show, we kind of wanted to do something a little bit different, do like a quick show, a little shorter show, but more of a look back on how Game.Set.Chat got started, kind of all the things we've gone through, some of the trials and tribulations.
Yeah,
And so we thought we'd have a little fun with that today.
yeah, I'm really looking forward to this show because, you know me. I have all these things in my head, but you guys have to keep me going.
Well, yeah, exactly. And I mean, I have to start by saying, Zena, you called me up on a Sunday. So our first show was March 28th. That was a Saturday. You called me up on the Sunday before and Sunday morning, and you're like, I have an idea. I think we could do such and such. We can look back at matches. We can, talk like we normally do, off the cuff, all of that stuff. And of course, I was like, okay, it was a little unexpected, but okay. I'm thinking it's sounding pretty good. All right. And so we kind of went, we thought about it. We started kind of doing some of the legwork. I mean, this was happening fast. Came back together, made some adjustments to kind of what we were going to do, how we were going to do it. And by Saturday, we were on live with the show.
Yeah, Chanda, you know me. But one thing I love about you is you're going to sit back, you're going to think it, you're going to plan it out. And I knew I needed somebody like you, and you got it right, girl, because I am loving doing the show.
It's been a lot of fun. I should have actually kind of shown a picture of my PDF, my little business plan that I put together. Because yes, I went all out. I was like, okay, this is the premise. This is our goal. This is what we're gonna do. This is how long it's gonna be. I did it all typed up, all nice and neat. We've kind of thrown it out the window a little bit, but it did give us something to work from and something to kind of build from. So I think it helped in that sense. And I don't want to go any further without talking about our guy, your guy, Jason
Yeah.
Gridiron, who, Zena, you called me on Sunday. And I want to say, Jason, when did Zena call you?
It felt like it was Monday evening, and she was like, "I got this idea," and I was like, "Okay," because Zena's always hitting me with a lot of ideas, and I'm like, "Okay, I'm trying to keep up." So she hit me up Monday evening, and she was like, "I got an idea for a show, but we need to do it. We need to get it up in like the next day or so." And I'm like,
Yeah, she was trying for a Thursday show. I mean,
"Yeah, that's
insane,
right.
Two.
insane.
That's right. It was supposed
And
to
she
go
wanted to
live
do
on
that
Thursday.
week. She's like, going to start Thursday,
Yeah,
we're going to do
yeah.
Saturday. I was like, wait.
Oh, yeah.
And Jason, I just appreciated just, how you just took it all in stride. I mean, you had to have been thinking in your head, like, what the heck did I get myself into? Because everything we wanted to do, Zena was like, Jason, you can do that,
Yeah,
right? You can do that, right?
yeah, yeah. I think Zena has a lot more confidence in me than I had in myself at the time. 'Cause I didn't know how we pulled that off. I still don't. Looking back, I don't know how we pulled that off. I don't.
Yeah. Well, we didn't have
Yeah.
a
But
platform. We
We
had to
didn't have a
figure that
platform.
out.
We didn't have a logo. We didn't have anything.
look, I knew I had Jason and Chandler. That's all I needed.
Yeah,
But
yeah. It came
Jason, we
together.
have got to talk about that one show where you held the camera.
That was the first show. That was the first show because we couldn't get Zoom to stream on Facebook consistently. So
And
yeah,
wait, our
that was Billy
first
show.
show, okay,
That was the first
before
show.
our first show was none
Mhm.
other than with Billie Jean King. I
Billie
mean,
Jean
so
King.
like
Oh my God.
we
Because
we we got out of the gate hard.
oh my God, the pressure, right? So here it is, Billie Jean King of all people, our first show, and I got this unsurmountable task of keeping this thing going, streaming it live, and here we go. So I'm
It worked.
holding. It worked. I don't know if anybody noticed it, but I was holding my phone as it was streaming on the phone was streaming as I'm watching the laptop, holding the laptop. I literally had to hold this phone steady for an hour. My wife is walking all in the back of the screen, man. I'm like, hey, come back here. Like I can't even talk because the phone is on. So I'm like throwing her
Oh
smoke
my
signals.
gosh.
and
How did
everything.
you manage? I
I
mean, where
don't know
you're on?
how I got through it.
I'm thinking about that now, and that's like torture, having to
So
hold the
torture.
phone for that
Yeah,
long.
yeah. I had
I'm
a
so
gout kicked
sorry.
in, my gout, my arthritis, carpal tunnel, everything kind of kicked in at the same time.
Oh
Oh my
And I'm
God.
no.
literally trying my best to hold this phone without
Oh
making a
gosh.
sound, man. I think I had a coughing fit. Nobody caught that, I hope.
Look,
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
I had a coughing fit.
and we can't forget, then we had Miss Black Don't Crack herself, Deborah Smith,
Debbie
calling
is
in,
sending me
telling us that the
messages.
camera's
Yeah,
moving.
that's right. That's right. So Debbie is sending me messages saying, "Look, hold the camera steady. What's going on? Who's that moving in the background?" I'm like, I can't even respond to her because I'm holding the phone. So I can't even send her a message. Like, Debbie,
Oh my God.
leave me
OMG.
alone for about an hour. I can't even
Oh
respond
no.
to her. So I had my wife text her and say, Debbie, he's kind of tied up at the moment, which literally happened. Right. So
That
it
is
was
amazing.
terrible. It was terrible. But it came out good. The show was great anyway. And I hope everybody kind of paid more attention to the dialogue than that shaky camera.
Oh no, for sure. And I mean, look,
Yeah.
you're holding your phone as the camera. I'm
Yeah.
holding my phone on the side because we're, doing our
Yeah.
Facebook Live. We're getting questions in the
Oh,
middle. I'm scrolling, talking, and I'm like, okay, just keep it out of the frame. Don't let them
Yeah.
see your phone
It was so
in the
bad.
frame.
Oh my God. It was bad.
But you do what you have to do. And I think doing it live, it definitely created a certain type of energy where
Yeah.
people
yeah,
could kind of ask questions in real time. And,
Yeah.
we kind of fed off of that a little bit. And that was really our premise for starting it initially, was wanting to do it live where it could be more
Yeah.
interactive and,
Yeah.
people could chime in. So that was a fun part of it.
Yeah.
Sadly, it was a little too inconsistent. So we
Right.
couldn't really
stressful,
keep going.
Yeah.
stressful.
Yeah, and for Jason, I didn't
Yeah.
know how stressful, because we did
Yeah.
another few shows that were live and we had various degrees of success.
We did. Yeah, we did. So yeah, there were a couple of them that. Well, there was one. Was it the Katrina show that didn't
Katrina's was
make the cut?
perfect. It
Was
went
it
up
okay?
live. We hit
Yeah,
it. It was great. There was one other show. So the people we've had on, we had Billie Jean King, we had
yeah,
Jackie Joyner Kersey, we had
yeah,
Leslie Allen,
yeah.
who's didn't record,
That's
right?
the
That
one.
didn't record.
Yeah.
That was
Oh
our
man, that's
first
so
glitch,
funny in that one. Yeah,
unfortunately. We
yeah,
had Katrina Adams, Pam
yeah.
Shriver. Those went well. One of those, though, you had to hold the phone again and it was sideways. And
Yes, it was
so
upside down.
we could not, I could not understand while it was going on, why it was
Oh
sideways,
man.
but
Yeah,
we
I
kept
think that's what
rolling.
I tried to forget too. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yet again. I think that was Zoom on that one too. Zoom is pretty evil,
Yes,
man.
because we
Crazy.
started with Zoom. We started with
Yeah,
Zoom going to
yeah,
Facebook Live,
yeah.
and then we switched
Uh-huh.
to Be Live.
Supposed to be live.
Yeah,
After
Yeah.
what, 3 or 4, and
Blue
we were
Jeans too.
able, yeah, we were
Bill,
able with Be Live to get our graphic up and to
yeah.
That's
have
right.
our logo, which you
That's right.
created, which has
Yeah.
been fantastic. And
Yeah.
I mean, you were so inspirational.
Got
I had to order
tongue.
my mug,
Hey, look at that.
and I've got one waiting for you, Zena, and I want to ship it to you, and I got to get my little shipping container for you. But
Oh, cool.
I'm gonna get you a mug. But
That's dope.
it was just a lot of
Thank you.
fun, kind of how you put everything together, and then kind of the end product once we did get our Be Live going.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
I
So
think we
everything's
tried
fine.
blue jeans for a
We tried
second.
blue jeans
Blue
We
too.
tried them
jeans,
I
all.
mean,
We
we
gonna
pretty
try.
much tried everything, man.
yeah.
Whatever's out there, we pretty much tried it. We got locked into a couple of them, but
But it's worked out well. I mean, some of the other people with LZ Granderson, we had Mary Pierce,
great
Gigi
show.
Fernandez,
All of them. All of them were
Kamal
great.
Murray, Andrew
Yeah.
Krasny, Francis
Uh-huh.
Tiafo. We had
Uh-huh.
Lindsay, of course, Davenport last week. And we also did a panel, which was another kind of special show that we did a couple of weeks ago. And
Mhm.
that was really
Mhm.
fantastic. That
Yeah,
came out
That was amazing. That was
you
super
really
know
good.
well.
what? You know what I love Chanda's reading some of the comments after all the shows.
Yeah.
And people are like, it's really a conversation. And I remember
Yeah.
when we talked about it, we said we wanted to make sure it was just like a conversation. So when I hear people say each show is different, but it's just like you guys are just having a
Mhm.
conversation, I was like, we're doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
mean, we don't really have a script, although I mean, Zena, you think Zena's thought I've been crazy because I put
No, no.
together, I said, okay, we got a little rundown. Okay, we got to have a little rundown. This is
I
our
remember
first,
that.
like, our kind of
I
like
remember the
second
draft.
show.
Yeah,
And I
I
just
remember that.
wanted a little structure for the show where we could kind of play off of, but then we
Yeah.
end up kind of tossing it out the window. We got to some of it, but we've
Hmm.
been a little more off the cuff. And I think that's the part of it that's been fun, even for us. I don't know,
Yeah.
Jason, you've been sitting in the
Yeah.
background. You've been listening to every show. People don't maybe
Yeah.
don't know or haven't realized, but you have been there getting us on, getting us off. Has it come across to you kind of sitting, watching and listening, sitting back in the cut?
I mean, it's been great. I mean, I've been learning so much about not only you guys, but a lot of the guests and things that I didn't know, previous to those conversations. But those everything seems to be. I mean, it's just so raw. The conversations are so raw and
Mhm.
genuine, right? And you can sense that everybody's comfortable with you too, and it just
Hmm.
kind of comes across in the footage. So
Yeah,
it's
it's been
amazing,
fun.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's got getting to know some of our guests just a little bit
yeah.
better as well. I mean,
Hmm.
some of them Zena has known a little bit better, some I've known a little bit better, but
Yeah.
we end up kind of getting into these chats and it does just flow. We kind of lose
Oh
track
my
of time.
Oh my
Hmm.
goodness,
Yeah.
you and Lindsay, I was dying. Like, and I kind of just, you probably felt like that with me and Pam too, just kind of
Mhm.
the way we're going back and forth.
I
But
was like, I would just
Lindsay,
stay out and listen. I'm just sitting back
Hmm.
Lindsay
chilling.
and you and Lindsay were hilarious.
It didn't feel like we were that funny, but I mean, we
Oh
do laugh
Yeah,
no.
all
yeah,
the
well,
time.
pretty is hilarious. Pretty
And I
hilarious.
still think about Pam bringing up Pam and Gigi, the damn props all the time, putting the props up,
Yeah,
and
that was
showing.
funny.
So we've had a good time. And then Billy, just learning from Billy and
Yeah,
Jackie, just so much
yeah.
wisdom. Like, I've
Yeah.
really
Hmm.
enjoyed. And
And
even the little young one, TFO. It was nice to kind of see him,
Yeah.
Mhm.
get into his little
Yeah,
rhythm. It was his rhythm, but he got,
it
he
was.
got
It was. And
Hmm.
and
yeah,
Zena, but you were so funny after because she said, he doesn't talk that much though. I said, no, that for him that was a lot.
That
He
was
was
a lot.
like,
Yeah.
yeah,
He was
he
talking.
was
Yeah.
great. Like he
Yeah,
was
it was
relaxed. He
amazing.
was like, okay, it's good to know. But you just
yeah,
never know about people players personalities until you kind of see them in different settings. And certainly this one, I think everybody has seemed to be a little surprised at how relaxed it is. I mean, you tell them, Zena, before they come
yeah,
on, but I think they're still a little bit surprised. And the time literally has been going so fast. We've actually been over the time that we were trying to end some of these shows because the time just got away from us.
yeah. And everybody always, we always hear everyone's like, we could have just kept talking.
Mm-hmm.
I want
Mm-hmm.
to tell him, no, Chandler, don't, we got to cut it. We got a script over here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm the timekeeper.
I
And
mean,
And
and and the other
Elsie,
thing, which I don't want to
Elsie,
give it away too much, Zena, but so normally you do shows, you see, Tennis Channel, you'll see ESPN shows, you get
yeah,
WTA doing stuff. People have ears. They've got, producers telling them stuff, giving them cues. Okay, this person's gonna talk next. Okay, so and so just come right in after. And so it feels seamless, but it's because it's all being orchestrated. We have none of that. So a couple of times,
yeah.
I was talking and you would come in and then you would talk and then I would come in. And so we kind of had to get a couple of cues together because unfortunately with Jason, I can't be looking at text messages during
Right.
the show. It's too much going on. So
Yeah.
we get like
Yeah.
a couple of little
came up with
gestures.
some baseball signals.
Yes, we get some signals. And so Zena has her little signal. I don't want to give
Yeah.
too much of it away, but
Yeah, we can't
I
give
get my little signal going. And
Hmm.
so it ends up working pretty seamlessly, even
Hmm.
though it's just us, a 3-person operation.
Yeah. I know.
So
I
it's
think
been,
we all need a raise. What do you think?
yeah,
We need to
like
talk to
a real
somebody. Somebody
show
can
with
handle
real
that
money
for us. I'm
behind it
sure.
would be
yeah.
nice.
Well, definitely Jason, I mean, okay, so you're our IT guy.
Yeah.
You are our logo creator, in terms of our
Graphic. Yeah.
content. You create our
Yeah.
flyers, so our content
Yeah.
creator. You
Yeah.
are a producer. You
Hey.
are, I'm trying to think, what, I mean, he's like everything,
He's
he's our
Jason.
stage manager. Okay. He's
He's
our
There you
stage
go.
manager.
And
Like
man, I
Jason
do
has
need
about
I
5 or
need
6
a
jobs.
raise. What you
But
talking
you
about?
know
That's a
what's
great
so
job.
cute is Well, I asked Billy to do the second show, and Billy
Yeah,
said, "Oh yeah." So Tip said, "Yeah," and so Billy told me I need to talk to Jason.
yeah,
Everybody knows Jason on the
Jason, like,
all
is
our
the
guests.
guy. And then, yeah, then we
Andrew,
go,
Jason.
then we say, look, if you have any problems getting on, text Jason.
yeah,
And
yeah.
like, it's
So of
everything.
course my phone is blowing up before every show. That's cool, you know, comes with the territory, you know.
And I have to say, Jason, I've been kicking myself because every show, at least the last three for sure, because I know initially you're like, don't say my name. So I kind of got
Yeah,
into that habit. But the last three shows, I'm like, I'm gonna get your name out there. I'm gonna pump you up. And I keep
you flood
forgetting
me.
for whatever reason. And
Yeah.
so this partly is out of my guilt, this show, because you have been doing so much and you've been
Oh,
fantastic. And I just wanted
We
on the record
appreciate
to
you.
say how
thank
much we
you. Thank
appreciate
you.
it. And we're going to keep working it and, making this
Yeah, I'm
bigger
just
and keeping
fine
this
tuning this
going.
thing.
And,
Yeah,
we're
absolutely.
going to take care of you. We're going to take
I
care of
appreciate it. I appreciate
you.
it.
So but thank
Yeah,
you. Thank you so much
yeah.
for that.
Thank you guys
So,
for thanks for guys
and
for having me be a part of this thing. I mean, this has been amazing for me. You just don't know. I mean, Zena, you know how I feel about you. I do it. Been knowing Zena. I don't Zena, how long have I been knowing you? It's been
I
some
don't
years,
even know
right?
how long.
It's
It's
about
been a little
7,
while.
8 years now.
It's
You
been
know,
Wow.
yeah,
Okay.
no, how long is Deborah's Black
oh,
Don't
about
Crack?
6. She's been doing that for about 6 years
So
now.
it's about 6 or 7.
It's about 6 or 7 years.
Wow.
So
I
of
didn't know that.
course I was like, Debbie's like, yeah, I'll put you in touch with Zena Garrison, and I was like, Zena who? And she's like, Zena Garrison, you know Zena Garrison. I was like, of course I know Zena Garrison. Like, I'm like fanning out over here, man. I'm like, are you serious? But she's amazing. I mean, it's incredible because from obviously I'm not a celebrity, but well, at least in my house I am. But outside of my home, so I'm meeting all of these celebrities, right? And they're
Mm,
all incredible. They're all so you get this envision these people being these unsurmountable things and all these
mhm.
things they've done, and you get to meet them. They're just so down to earth and
Yeah.
so
We've been lucky.
grounded, and
Yeah.
share some of
Really
these
good
most
people.
amazing stories. And
Hmm.
I'm just like, man, I'm just really enjoying it. Just
I'm
these
glad.
hearing these stories that you guys are telling, and it just kind of sheds a lot of light on some of the accomplishments that you guys have
Well, they love you
had
just
and
as
that kind of
much
thing.
as we love you, Jason.
Oh,
They all talk about
stop!
thank Jason
Yeah.
for.
Yeah,
Across the board,
oh,
across the board. So
yeah,
no, it's been fantastic. And so kind of this little short, special show, it's actually June 19th, Juneteenth. And so we've been, talking a lot about Juneteenth as a national holiday. And you've seen with everything going on, you're seeing companies, either taking a half day off or giving their employees the day off. And there's
mm,
so much more support behind potentially making this a national holiday, which I think is great. Um, Being a tennis player, I mean, we've been on the road all the time. A lot of times we don't even celebrate holidays, but when you are able, and even when you're away, having this kind of significance put on a day that is important, that is a part of American history, I think is
So,
just fantastic.
well, and Chanda, me, you, and Jason, coming from the South, like it's Juneteenth has always been major to us. But
Hmm.
it's funny because I remember when I lived in Maryland, and people like, "What Juneteenth? What?" I'm like, "I need my big red." I'm not a big barbecue person, but they put my salmon on there. I need, yes, I need my watermelon,
Yeah.
and nice and cold. But so just even the thought of making it a holiday, I mean, how special would that be? Especially in these times right now, would be really cool.
Yeah, no, I think it'll be fantastic if we can keep that going and actually build and not have it just be for this short period where
Yeah.
people are really, really behind it, and hopefully we'll see that happen. One of the other things I kind of wanted to do in our last 5 minutes or so, there were probably maybe two or three questions over the course of the weeks, Zena, that we didn't really get to. And we've had some viewers who have just followed us every week. I mean,
Oh
they
yeah.
have been huge fans, and we just want to say how much we appreciate you all for supporting, for listening, for sending your questions in, and for just being a part of these conversations.
Thank
That
you.
has been gratifying. Yeah. But actually a couple of questions. So Brian Chor, a couple of them that we kind of missed, we couldn't get to, but he wanted to know about Fed Cup, being the Fed Cup captain, Zena, and your experiences in that arena, and also with regard to players, if there were things that players did differently or that you kind of saw in a different way because they were in this team environment.
Yeah, well, actually, I was really fortunate enough to be the assistant to Billie Jean King before I was actually captain. So I got to really study and learn a lot. But I had no idea when I got into that role, just how you had to have everyone around you work together. And you've heard me say before, that's what I learned from Billie, whether it was the stringer or the massage person, but even more, just getting the players, each and every one, you have to attend to their own personalities, them getting ready for a match, not trying to put everybody in the same box, and you really are a big, having to really motivate. I mean, because, they know how to play tennis. It's just motivating. But it's been some challenging times. I've had some people on the court, one person on the court actually told me, don't say nothing to me. Okay. Then you say something to me when it's match point. I don't have nothing to say. Again, what you want me to say? Nothing. So anyway, so it's just, and then I had, I still think about one of the cutest ones. She probably didn't think so, but we were in Belgium and everybody had gotten sick. And so it was Vanya King, who I love to death. And so I kept saying, Vanya, you're going to play Kim Clijsters. I need you to stay as calm as possible because there's a lot of energy is going to be going. She's going to be knocking the heck out that ball and getting everything back. So while we're practicing, I said, I don't want to hear you say, Vanya, I don't want to hear you say, no, let's work on just, get it within yourself. We might have been in the practice maybe, I wouldn't say maybe good 20, 30 minutes or something. Vanya, she missed the shot. I politely went over, started walking, and started picking up my stuff. And I was like, what is Zena doing? And Lori McNeil was with me then. Was the assistant. Lori said, she ain't playing. She already told you don't say Vanya. So I think about that all the time. And, but it was the only way I could try to get her ready for what was going to happen the next day.
Yeah.
I knew it was going to be so much tension on her and so much pressure. And, she was going to have to gather herself. You didn't have time to be going off and practice.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it was really cute. But I always think about Lori. Lori's like, she told you not to say nothing.
Lori is like not surprised by anything. She's like, look, I knew this was going to happen. She told you that. I love Lori so much. And I think also, though, with Fed Cup, people sometimes maybe realize, but it isn't always maybe at the top of mind how different that week is for players. You're used to week in and week out playing your individual matches, focusing on yourself. Tournaments have a certain rhythm and you're with your team. And so for Fed Cup, all of a sudden you have to come together in this week, sometimes 6 days, depending on when you actually get there. And you all of a sudden have to operate in a team environment, but with tremendous pressure. You're playing for the US. I mean, everything is on your shoulders. And it's just a different kind of pressure. It's a different type of feeling. And you often, you talk about how players react differently in this setting. You often have players that just can't handle the tension. They just can't handle, all of that added emotion. And it kind of takes some work as a captain and as a coach to try to help them through the emotional part of it.
It takes a lot of work. And what I found is, from my point of view, and is when you kind of like, when you're just in a bubble by yourself and you are the only person you think about, when you get in a team setting and everybody kind of thinks like that, you have to learn how to step back a little bit and be part of a team. That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
And like you said, sometimes, players aren't able to do that. That's how I always say, when people go to the Olympics, you could be the number one player in the world. You go to the Olympics, it don't mean nothing because you're used to being this person up here. And now you're in the mix of everybody else amongst all these other athletes and stuff's not shining on you. It's a whole different way about playing. And I think sometimes, well, not I think, but what I feel that in order to be a good coach, you have to be selfless, and you take your ego out of it and try to help the player become the best that they can become on that day.
Yeah. Now, one last question about that I'm curious about. Now, how did you approach managing the players individually during that week based on maybe how they were playing? Because you get to a certain point and you have to make your teams. You have to decide who's playing number one singles, who's playing number two, who's your doubles team. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's clear in terms of rankings, who you're going to put in. But then there are other times where you maybe have the option of switching up. You could switch up. Maybe that's a better pairing to switch things up. How do you approach those decisions during the week? Everybody's practicing in different states of belief about their game and different levels. How do you kind of make those decisions?
Well, it was interesting, and sometimes, I was that coach that said, well, she doesn't call anybody, and she didn't whatever. I'm like, you need to be ready anyway. If you get a phone call, that means I want you to play. You're like, really? But Lori was a big help because I was always very good at analyzing people's emotions. So for that reason, I could be very in the moment of knowing if somebody was going to be ready to play or if we were going to have some trouble, or what I might need to do. But Lori was always good on the tactical part. So we would really strategize together and talk about it. And, I remember when we were in Germany and we ended up beating the Germans, and, that was one of the biggest wins. And I took a bunch of youngsters in there and everybody's like, what are you doing?
I remember that. That was masterful.
Yeah.
The job you did.
I remember Lori telling me, Zena, you gonna have to go with the young ones. And she said, and and this is a true story. She said, we're gonna go with the young ones, and when we get them there, we're gonna have them believing they could beat the world. And we're just gonna pump them up, fill them up. And she said, this is the other point. As I remember Jamia played some matches. She said, we're gonna place people around the court. To every time they go there, we're going, come on, baby, you can do it. Keep it up, whatever. I remember I had my sister at one side. When Jamia go there, I tell her to move down to the other side. So she didn't even have time.
Jamia Jackson,
yeah,
right?
Jackson.
Yeah.
And
I mean, she played out of her mind. Good player. I played doubles with her. Really nice athletic player, but she played her butt off. You guys did it.
And Jill came through on a drop shot. I still don't know how she got that drop shot today. I just remember, we needed the match. We needed it. And I remember it got down to match point. I mean, she got down. I don't know if it was match point, but it was a point that was going to, put us in trouble. Mm-hmm. And I said, I just need you to run your butt off. Run your, whatever it is, just keep running. And when that girl got that drop shot back, I just could not believe it. I was like, oh no, we're going to win now. But what I loved about all of them is afterwards, after we won, we went to this little hole in the wall in Germany. And
so tell everybody who was on the team.
Oh, now I'm horrible with that, but let's see. Jamia Jackson, Vanya King, Jill, and I'm forgetting the fourth person.
Jill Cravis.
Jill Cravis. Yeah. And who was the fourth person? Oh God, Chan, I forgot. We have to look that one up.
I'm trying to remember too, because man, but you took a team
over there. Well, was it Shanae Perry?
Was it Shanae?
I think it was Shanae. Perry.
But you took a team of just good players, ready to kind of work, to do what they needed to do, and you made it gel and got them in a place to play like their best tennis. It was always the most impressive thing to me to watch.
Well,
the way you and Lori did that.
It's still today. I hear one of the bigger moments for a Fed Cup. But last part, and then I know we got to go. I just remember we all went to this little hole in the wall, and they put sausages out and all this stuff. And the guy, and we sung, "We Are the Champions." I remember it was like, this is so much fun. And the guys from the bar, they started, "We are the champions." So, but what the moral of that whole story is that, Lori was right, just getting them to believe that they could do it. And that's what we did. You know, we constantly just put in their heads that we don't care where they are, we can come out as the winners.
That's fantastic. And you know, so appropriate, Zena, for us to go out for this show on that note, because we have been a team, the three of us, and
Yes.
you know, we have just made it work. We have kept pushing, we've kept, you know, adjusting, making changes where we needed to,
Yeah.
bringing things together. And I think what we've put together has been a lot of fun, and people have really appreciated it. And I want to say thank you again to you, Jason, to you, Zena. It has been a lot of fun. I mean, we're gonna keep going. This isn't the end, but I just want to say, you know, for the record, how much I've enjoyed it.
Well, I just want to say this too. Okay, girlfriend, your background is looking off the chart. It just got better and better every day. Okay.
So the set director approves, right? Okay.
There you
Thank
go.
you.
That
All right.
director takes a bow on that one, girlfriend. You got to
I
work
love it. I love it. I love it. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of Game Set Chat. Thank you again for joining us, and join us next time. Follow us on social media. We'll see you for the next show. Bye-bye.